Greenhouse effect. A greenhouse is a glass structure used for growing plants in it. The glass roofs and walls allow sunlight to shine through it and warm the plants and air in the greenhouse. Heat cannot pass through the glass, and hence it is trapped in the greenhouse. The condition in the greenhouse gets warmer during the day, and it also stays warm at night. Even during winters, greenhouses can stay warm enough for plants to grow them. The atmosphere surrounding the Earth acts like a greenhouse. Gases such as carbon dioxide and water vapor act like the glass roof and walls of a greenhouse, and they are known as greenhouse gases. During the day, sunlight passes through the atmosphere and warms the Earth's surface. The atmosphere allows most of the sunlight to pass through it, and some are reflected back into space. At night, the Earth's surface cools and releases the heat into the air. The greenhouse gases in the atmosphere trap some of the heat into air. The greenhouse gases in the atmosphere trap some of the heat, and this helps to keep the Earth warm at night. The process of trapping heat by the atmosphere to keep the Earth warm is known as the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect keeps the temperature of the Earth warms constantly and makes the climate suitable for living things to survive on the Earth. What would happen if there is no atmosphere? What would happen if there is no atmosphere? The temperature of the Earth without an atmosphere during the day will be extremely high, and it will be extremely cold at night. The change in temperature from the day to night would be too drastic that not many living things would be able to survive in such conditions. However, the greenhouse effect has worsened over the years. The amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere is increasing. What contributes to the increase in the amount of greenhouse gases? Activities that release more greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. Burning of fossil fuels in power stations generate electricity releases greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. Our vehicles also produce greenhouse gases as they use fossil fuels to work. Besides that, open burning and some factories also emit greenhouse gases. When plants carry out photosynthesis, they absorb carbon dioxide from the air. However, deforestation is happening rapidly. This results in more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. What happens when there are too much greenhouse gases in the atmosphere? Impact of severe greenhouse effect on the living things on Earth. When the amount of greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide in the atmosphere increases, the gases trap more heat, causing the increase in global temperature. Higher global temperature speeds up the melting of glaciers and ice sheets. As a result, a large volume of water flows into seas and causes the sea level to rise. Some low-lying areas might be flooded. An increase in global temperature can warm up oceans. Warmer oceans might result more hurricanes. The increase in global temperature causes the occurrence of global climate change. Global climate change affects the amount of sunlight and rainfall worldwide. Some places might experience drought, whereas other places might experience heavy downpour or even floods. Crop production will be affected as fertile soil becomes too dry for planting, or crops might be flooded due to heavy rainfall. Global climate change affects the habitats of plants and animals too. The plants and animals might die if they cannot adapt to the changing habitats. For example, trees might die if their environment is too dry and warm. A tiger might not be able to survive if its habitat becomes too cold. What will happen to the polar bear if its habitat becomes warm? What can we do to reduce the impact of severe greenhouse effect? Most of the human activities release greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. Therefore, we should be responsible and reduce the activities that contribute to more greenhouse gases. We should stop cutting trees. Instead, we should plant more trees. We should plant a new tree for every tree that is fallen. Trees help to reduce carbon dioxide in the atmosphere through photosynthesis. Most of our electricity is generated by burning fossil fuels. We should conserve electricity to reduce the burning of fossil fuels. One of the ways to conserve electricity is to switch off electrical appliances when they are not in use. Less electricity used means cheaper electricity bills too. Air conditioners need huge amounts of electricity to function. We can use fans as they use lesser electricity than air conditioners. We should use energy-saving light bulbs, such as light-emitting diode bulbs instead of incandescent light bulbs. We can use renewable energy sources such as the sun, wind, running water instead of fossil fuels to generate electricity. Instead of driving our own cars, we can use public transport like trains and buses. We can also walk or cycle to our destination. We can buy products that are grown or made locally and do our shopping at nearby market and shops. This reduces the use of fossil fuels for transport of the products and hence reduces the emissions of greenhouse gases. We should practice 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Besides reducing waste material in landfills, this helps to reduce the need of raw materials like trees and fossil fuels, and also reduce the emissions of greenhouse gases while making new things. It is also important to educate about the impact of severe greenhouse effect. With the awareness, the public can understand the implications of their choices and are encouraged to adopt practices that reduce the emissions of greenhouse gases. Thanks!